Hey, what's up guys? So we're going to be checking out the new zombie ritual deck, the Vendreads. They're actually going to be pretty good. Now, Dinosaurs is not a deck that generally has lots of back row. However, this deck is pretty strong. So the main boss monster is Vendread Slayer. However, he doesn't have the good effects. The good effects actually come from what you're using to ritual summon him, which are the ritual spells. And we'll get into like more details, but I kind of want to show you guys how the deck works. So as of right now, when he uses the effect of Vendread Hound Horde, when he uses it as material, he's actually going to get the effect to actually, once per turn as a quick effect, target one spell trap his opponent controls and banish it. Now there's another Vendread card, it's the other zombie guy. He actually can get rid of monsters. So now we have get rid of a spell trap per turn, and then we have get rid of a monster per turn. And those effects can actually stack on top of each other. You could have actually more than one effect. So how the deck works, as of right now, it's early on right now, but what it looks like to be is a archetype that revolves around the smaller monsters that you're going to be banishing when you're using them for the rituals. But right now, like I said, the Slayer has the ability to banish a spell and trap once per turn, and later on you guys will see the other card which actually lets him get rid of a monster. So basically once per turn you're going to be able, during either player's turn, because it is a quick effect, so that makes it really, really good. He's going to be able to get rid of a monster and a spell and trap. And that's banish. Banish is usually what you want to do these days. He's going to go ahead and attack into it, but unfortunately the guy, I think he should have attacked over that monster first, then set the Quaking Mirror Force, but he might have not been familiar with this deck, and he just decided, oh, I'm going to go ahead and run over it. But it's not going to really matter anyways, as you guys will see, even if he had that card face down, because he's going to go ahead and make the ritual monster, and he's going to have the ability to banish a monster and a spell and trap, and that's you know, a quick effect. Really, really good stuff over here, and now he's going to have a blank board to go ahead and attack into his opponent and make a game. So Vandalion, that was really good. Shoutouts to you, man. Now I'm going to go more in depth and talk a little bit more about some of the cards, because there's a ton of zombie support. Zombies have an excellent amount of support, and there is also the newer synchro support that we got a while back for the zombies, the Shrenuis. But anyways, let's go and jump into the deck profile and talk a little bit about this build as well as about the deck, for those of you guys that are interested in perhaps building it. So as far as the Vendread cards, like I mentioned, the smaller monsters will be boosting the bigger monsters. As of right now, there's only one ritual, which is the Vendread Slayer. However, I want to say they probably should be getting at least one more. Like, there's no way they'd be like, oh, they're only going to get one Vendread ritual when it says it can be used ritual as a ritual summon of any Vendread ritual monster. There's probably going to, I want to say there's probably going to be at least two more coming out in the game, but this deck is getting pretty good, and it's all about the smaller monsters effects, keep that in mind. But I want to go over the Vendread stuff, and then I want to go over other cards you guys might not be familiar with, because there is a card that you can bust out here that is really good. But anyways, so Vendread Slayer is, again, I would say he's the boss monster of the deck, because this is the only ritual we have as of right now. Keep in mind this will change, and this build will probably be changed once we get some of the newer stuff. But anyways, so the Slayer over here, he can be ritual summon with any Vendread ritual. Then once per battle, when it battles an opponent's monster during damage calculation, you get to banish a zombie monster from your graveyard, and then it gains 300 attack. And then if this ritual card is sent to the graveyard, you get to add one ritual spell from your deck to your hand, and if you do, you get to send one Vendread monster from your deck to the graveyard. You can only use this effect about once per turn. So basically, you want to actually send some of this stuff to the graveyard. Really, really good for setting up. A lot of the zombie archetype stuff is all about utilizing cards in the graveyard anyways. So it lets you just send one to the graveyard, like a foolish for the deck. Now, as far as the ritual goes, which is the Vendread Origin, this card can be used to ritual summon any Vendread ritual monster from your hand or graveyard. So that actually is fine if it goes to the graveyard. And then you must also tribute monsters from your hand or field and or banish zombies from your graveyard. So you sending them to the graveyard is basically saying, hey, I have free material for my Vendread Origin. And then, if the Vendread Slayer or Slayer's monster you control be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you get to banish this card from your graveyard instead. So ideally, this card would have to be, I guess, destroyed twice, if you want to look at it like that, because obviously this already protects it once, and then on top of that, you already have the ability to get rid of another monster, and then when it comes around to your turn, if there's anything that would get rid of this guy, he also can gain a potentially 300 more attack the next turn. And on top of that, a next turn rolls around, if he survives because you banish Vendread Origin, you can just banish the monster, because you're more likely you're going to be using the material to get him out, which is the Revenants as well as the Hound Horde. So Anyways, let's go over the effects of the smaller monsters. We only have 2 as of right now, but let's go over them really quick. But anyways, for the Vendread Revenants, so if this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card by battle by card effect and sent to your graveyard, you can just special summon this card. So that's really good, but banish it when it leaves the field. And then a Vendread Ritual monster using this as material gains this effect. So once per turn, you get to target a special summon monster your opponent controls and banish it. I mean, you could argue there are some decks that don't really need to special summon, but pretty much most of the things that would get rid of this guy, they're more than likely going to be special summoning. But that is Vendread Revenants. And the other guy over here is the Hound Horde. So when this card is in your graveyard, you get to discard 1 Vendread card to special summon it, and banish it when it leaves the field. And then when you use this as ritual material, you're able to get rid of a spell and trap card your opponent controls by banishing it. So yeah, like I said, banishing is really good right now in the game. I mean, pretty much it's always been really good. There's very few cards that really utilize the banished zone, unless of course you're playing against some other obscure deck. But as far as other cards, Zombie Master, a classic zombie card, just to send 1 level 4 or send 1 monster from your hand to the graveyard, then target level 4 or lower zombie type monster and bring it back. So that just helps you get cards out for the Vendread Slayer. However, you can use the material out of the graveyard anyways, but this just helps for your rank 4 play. Sometimes you really need to go for a Castell to get rid of random things. Can definitely be just a great card overall. And then next up we have Gozuki over here. So during your main phase, you can send 1 zombie type monster from your deck to the graveyard, which, that's pretty good effect, right? And then if this card is sent to the graveyard, you get to banish 1 zombie type monster from your graveyard except for itself, and then special 1 zombie type monster from your hand. So that can help you, again, extend some of your plays. Then we have Mizuki, classic zombie card. Wish this card was dark, but anyways, it has the ability to banish itself from the graveyard and then target a zombie monster in your graveyard and special summon. And there's no restrictions on it. It doesn't have to be like a certain level or attribute or nothing. Just don't worry about it. Go for it. And then we have the Shiranui Spirit Master. So when this card is normal summon, you can just special summon a Shiranui monster from your hand or graveyard, which will be the other card which we'll get into, but banish it when it leaves the field. And then if this if this card is banished, you can target 1 face-up card your opponent controls and destroy it. So that kind of helps out with that effect. And then the Sage over here, you tribute a zombie type monster to special summon 1 zombie type tuner with 0 defense from your deck. And a lot of the zombies, guys, they all have very low defense. Most of them are, well, okay, this could technically be a target, but there are tons of targets in the zombie archetype. However, Unizombie is a really good card for this effect. But anyways, so you get to just special summon a Unizombie. But anyways, also as another effect, you can target 1 of your banished Shiranui monsters except for Shiranui Solitaire, or up to 2 instead if Shiranui Style Synthesis is on the field, and special summon them. That effect, we're not going to run that synthesis, so whatever. But it does have a bonus effect that I figured I just mentioned really quick. And then Unizombie, which is kind of a key card in the deck. So you target a face-up monster on the field, discard a card. If you do, increase that target's level by 1. Then you get to target 1 face-up monster on the field, and monsters you control cannot attack for the rest of the turn, except for zombie-type monsters. Also send 1 zombie-type monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do increase that target's level by 1, you can only use each effect about once per turn. But yeah, it's really good. Even if, like, for some odd reason you need to make something else and you're unable to attack, if you still have this on board, you can still get rid of another problematic card on board. So good stuff. We have 2 Allure of Darknesses. Allure of Darkness is just a fantastic card. There's not that many cards I would say that can really utilize being banished. Usually, like, you want to utilize their effects by just having them in the graveyard, but it could still kind of help out with draw power. And then we have Book of Life, classic zombie support card. Lets you banish an opponent's monster out of the graveyard, and then you get to bring back another zombie monster. We have Regeki over here, 3 pre-preparation of rights, really good stuff. And then we have Dragon's Mirror, which can actually get you a card which we'll get into in a second. I think it's a really good spicy tech over here. Then we have Foolish, we have preparation of rights, 3 copies of the Vendread Origin, 1 copy of Burial from a Different Dimension, 2 Storm Mirror Forces, 2 Solemn Strikes, and 1 Solemn Warning. Really, really important, I would say, to try to prevent your opponent's monsters from really getting anything out on board. However, if there is cards already on board, this card can kind of deal with it. I'm not a fan of this card personally, but I wanted to give you guys the build as seen in the replays. But I always prefer cards like Swarm Strike. Heck, I would prefer Bottomless Trap Hole over Storing Mirror Force. It's just because or even like Forbidden Challenge, just because you need to be more active in the game. Cards like this, you wait for your opponent to make a card. Maybe they're going to make a card that's going to get rid of all your back row or kind of just be immune to certain things. There's so many cards these days that just stop you from doing some stuff. I just feel like this card's a little slow, but keep in mind, you guys can definitely mess around with this. It's just kind of the core cards I wanted to go over. As far as the extra, there's one card I wanted to mention. It's an old, not an older card, it's a newer card. We'll get into the older cards that you guys will be familiar with. But anyways, Dragon Necro Nether Soul Dragon over here. This is what you use the Dragon's Mirror with. It just requires you to have 2 zombie monsters. So it must first be fusion summoned, and the monsters cannot be destroyed by battle with this card. At the end of the damage step, if this card battle monster, then the monster's attack becomes 0. Also, if that monster has an original level and is still face up on the field, so summon 1 Dark Soul token, and it's a zombie dark question mark level, question mark attack, and then when summoned, its level and attack become equal to the original level and attack of that monster. You can only control one of them, but it really helps you guys push for a game with this card. Great stuff indeed. Anyways, everything else is pretty much like older stuff. Beals, this is actually an expensive card now, but definitely a great card. Then we have Void Ogre Dragon, we got Ciphering Lord Omega, then we have Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, and we have the Black Rose Dragon Classic. But as far as like other cards that I can suggest for you guys, there is this. I think this card pretty much got outclassed, the Pain Painter. Another problem with this card, it doesn't have 0 defense. But this at one point was used in some zombie decks. But overall, if you guys have been playing zombies, there is another card I wanted to mention, which is Coral Dragon. I think this is just an excellent card because discarding cards can definitely help in zombies. So let's say you get rid of something, potentially get some extra draw power, and it could be used as a stepping stone to make other things. If you wanted a more synchro-oriented deck, because as you guys know, Link Summon format is coming up, and with this deck, I would say you don't need to worry about any of the links as of right now. Who knows what support the Vendread archetype will get, but I just wanted to say that, like, as of right now, you could definitely get away without playing any Link monster. So if you're anti-Link Summon, you don't want to mess around with Link Summon, this could definitely be an archetype. It depends, again, what support we get for it, but it's definitely good. Like, it definitely has a lot of potential in the game, because as of right now, I don't really think there's a Link monster that can really deal with this card really fast, because this card is just going to get rid of another card, and it can gain an extra 300 attack. So that gets rid of most of the base Link monsters, of course, with the exception of some of the other ones that we will be getting later down the line, but for the most part, it's going to be an excellent card. And again, when you're playing against a deck that's going to Link Summon, obviously they're going to make the Link Summon monster first, and if that monster doesn't deal with this, you just wait for your opponent to get out something, you go ahead and banish that, whatever they're trying to link, and then when it comes around your turn, you just banish the Link monster, and you just kind of have an empty board, because this card can be pretty good. Again, whatever support we get, I don't know what else we'll get. We have Destruction of the we get to banish monsters and banish spell and trap. The only other thing that we would really need for this to be like an even bigger boss monsters is get something where it prevents your opponent from special summoning. Maybe they'll get one, who knows. I mean, the monsters get more and more crazy every single format in Yu-Gi-Oh! But yeah, guys, that's a overview of the new Vendread archetype. It's looking to be an okay archetype. Again, it doesn't require Link Summon, so will maybe be popular, and zombies are always a popular thing. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing the new Vendreads. If you did enjoy it, drop a like on it, and shout out to you for hooking me up with the replay. But anyways, we could probably make this deck a little bit better, and also if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks in action. But we'll do a definite I guess a future update on this deck once to get more support, but like I said, I just want to share it with you guys right now. But thanks for watching, guys, and we're signing out.